see on the screen about proximity marketing and getting referrals. We've got about 2 more minutes until the top of the hour, so sit tight, relax, check your email, do what you're going to do, and we will be starting here momentarily. We'll be starting in about 2 minutes. Okay, we are about 1 minute until launch time, so get ready. We're going to talk about proximity marketing, other important marketing topics. This is Rich Harshaw. Thanks for joining me today on the webinar. Also like to say thank you to our sponsors. We'll talk to you in a moment about who they are. So sit tight, and we will be starting this webinar in approximately 1 minute. Okay, it is the top of the hour, so we are going to go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining. This is Rich Harshaw. I am the founder and CEO of Monopolize Your Marketplace, and this is the 4th in a series of webinars that we've done this year. Remodelers Marketing Essentials webinar series. We've covered topics such as creating an identity for your company, internet marketing. 2 months ago, we covered pre-positioning, and today we're going to get to proximity marketing and getting referrals. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in, and we're going to go through a few logistics and housekeeping. We're going to talk to a few of our sponsors, and we're going to jump into the topic for the day. So that being said, let's take a minute to recognize the sponsors. We will have an opportunity to hear from each of these at different times. As you are well aware, this webinar is free. There's no charge to you. That is because of the gracious participation of these sponsors. I would strongly recommend that if you decide that you like this webinar, that at the conclusion of it, you may want to send a note via email of thanks to whichever of the sponsors invited you to participate. We have All Weather Coatings, Bath Reps, Byliners Direct, Market Sharp, Window Depot USA, and Qualified Remodeler. We will be hearing from 3 of these folks today. The 2 that we will not be hearing from were not able to make it to the webinars, Qualified Remodeler Magazine and Window Depot USA. I will give you a little bit of information about them as we get to the appropriate time. Also do want you to hold on today to the very end of the webinar. We have some giveaways. We're going to give away, let's see, how many books? 3 books. I wrote this book called Monopolize Your Marketplace, and we will be giving away 3 copies. They will be sent out via UPS, free of charge, not even shipping. Amazon can't even do that. We'll send those to you, so stick around. We'll give those away randomly at the end of the call. My assistant, Judy Schaefer, who is also on the line, will be calling out those names. We'll give 2 away at the midpoint of the call, and then we'll give 1 more book away and a copy of this CD program, which is called the Monopolize Your Marketplace Remodeling Contractor Marketing Bootcamp. That's a mouthful. We'll be sending one of these out to the luckiest winner. This is a $400 value. It's 10 CDs on 10 different topics that are germane to remodeling contractors. So please stick around for that. Now let's go to a word from our sponsors. We're going to hear first from Window Depot USA, who is not on the call with us today. I do want you to know that Window Depot USA is a network of window dealers, and they have a very interesting model. that allows you as a dealer to not only receive great windows at a good price, but also they have a plethora, to use a big word, of marketing tools and people available at your disposal to help you grow your business. Quite a remarkable organization. If you would do me a favor and please go visit their website at windowdepotusa.com. That's windowdepotusa.com. If you don't carry windows but are thinking about it, this is a great place to start. If you do carry windows but are looking for a competitive advantage through superior marketing, which you probably do because you're on this webinar today, go check out windowdepotusa.com. Also, we have all-weather coatings, and I do have Rob Garrett, who is the owner of All-Weather Coatings. Rob, are you with me?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, Rob, I want to turn just a minute or two over to you to give us an idea of all-weather coatings. Tell us what we need to know about all-weather coatings.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody for showing up. The reason that we get involved in this is because most of the people that would be a participant in one of Rich's webinars and seminars are usually great qualified people that we like to do business with. One of the biggest things that we do is we provide our guys with leads. In some markets we actually provide production also, where we provide the installation process, and they're basically the sales vehicle. And so we have a really good rapport with our dealers throughout the nation. So our biggest thing is that we have options. So we have a 2-layer system, a 3-layer system, and a 4-layer system, the only one of its kind in the market. We have the highest solar reflectance of any of the products of its kind in the market also. So we have a lot for our guys to use, and a lot of tools and a lot of drop mechanisms that we use, so they have a good, better, and best system that they can put their guys into a house. So it works very, very well hand in hand. Everybody that's on this seminar and the sponsors, we all work together. So a lot of our dealers use a lot of these other products too. So it's a very, very good relationship that we have. And going into the new year, we're looking for guys that are looking to add on another product line so that they can diversify a little bit. So I appreciate it, and thank you, Rich, for inviting us.
All right. Thank you, Rob Garrett. And please give us your web address.
www.allweathercoatings.com.
Allweathercoatings.com. We will be sending an email at the conclusion of this webinar that has information and links to each of the sponsors. So thank you, Rob. Appreciate your participation. And we will now continue with Qualified Remodeler magazine. And they, again, are not on the webinar with us today, but I think everybody's familiar with Qualified Remodeler. They sponsor the annual Top 500. That is an excellent resource for you if you're a member of it. I would encourage you, if you're not currently involved in their Top 500 program, you might want to check into it, see if that's something that you can get on your resume if you have an adequate sales volume. But they do have excellent articles and resources on their website, so visit Qualified Remodeler on the internet. Thank you to them. Now, we're going to take a quick poll before we get started here. The topic that we're going to talk about today is proximity marketing. And the poll question will come on your screen. First, the poll is things that Meatloaf would do for love, anything or that. But I'm going to take you to the actual poll. And let's launch the first poll. All right, here's what I want to know. What is your experience with proximity marketing? And if you will do me a favor and fill this out, I want to get a feel for what you are doing with this topic already. So go ahead and fill this out. I'm not going to end the poll until I get at least half of the people to participate. Come on. Okay, there we go. There we go, 51%. Keep going. We can usually get this thing up to about 70%. Some people are asleep right now. Some people took a smoke break. But come on, fill this out. Okay. And I'll give you 3 more seconds, 2, 1, and I will close the poll. And let's share the results. Okay, here's what we've got. 39% have never tried proximity marketing. 29% tried it, but it didn't work. 5% said it used to work, but then it quit working. 20% says it works okay, and only 7% say that it's an active part of their current marketing program. And here's why, and I'm going to get into this as we go through this, is that I have found that typically speaking, proximity marketing doesn't work as well as people would like. And I've got some good ideas and things that you can do to make it work for you. We've got fully 40, 70% that they've either never tried it or it doesn't work, so they quit. So let's look at some ways to make this better. So I'm going to hide that poll, and let's jump into an introductory concept here. 3 steps to powerful marketing. If you want any marketing to work well, there's 3 steps. These are very foundational. The first one is have something good to say. Your business, product, or service, it must be good. You'd have to form and forge a unique, compelling identity. If you're not familiar with my concept of identity, I would strongly encourage you to go to my website, the same place where you signed up for this webinar. Go to the webinar archives page and look at the bottom of that page for a webinar called Standing for Something. It's about this concept of identity. Okay? If you don't know what that means, you just have to go look it up. 3 steps to powerful marketing. Number 1, having something good to say. Number 2 is saying it well, getting past platitudes, communicating powerfully with power, precision, and passion. And we spend a lot of time and effort in that same webinar on identity, talking about how to say things in a way that is powerful. But today, I want to focus a little bit more on this concept here. Number 1 and number 2 that are already on this screen are still extremely important, and I will show you some good examples of marketing pieces that have something good to say and are communicated well. But here's where we want to go with this, saying it often, breaking through the clutter, helping John Smith, that's your prospective customer, helping John Smith realize that he wants and needs what you sell, pounding John Smith in a nice way, don't want to be rude here, and getting John Smith to take action sooner than he otherwise would. One of the problems we have with proximity marketing is you send out your 3 postcards, you assume that because you took the effort, time, and money to send that stuff out there that people are somehow obligated to say, well, geez, I want some of that. And my experience is that's not necessarily true. So I want to tell you a quick story here. Maybe you've heard me tell this story before. It's about Wall Drug. And if you've been in, gosh, what is it, South Dakota, maybe you've heard of Wall Drug. I was on a vacation with my family. I've got 6 kids. We were driving across the country. We had gone to Mount Rushmore National Monument. And that's in the middle of nowhere if you've never been there. And we were leaving Mount Rushmore. We were heading east across the state of South Dakota. We were heading down into Kansas to go to a family reunion. And we started seeing these billboards for something called Wall Drug. And I'll give you just a feel and a flavor for some of the billboards that we saw. So we've got the Badlands map, Wall Drug sign. And I'll kind of just flip through these quickly. I don't know how fast they'll show up on your screen. But we've got a 6-foot rabbit, Wall Drug. If your kids are bored, you can stop at Wall Drug. We've got it as seen as in the Denver Post and as seen on country music television, wood carvings at Wall Drug. We've got silver dollar displays at Wall Drug, exit at 110, Kodak film, free ice water, It's Cool, Wall Drug, Skinny Saloon at Wall Drug, Real Americana, Wall Drug, the mining company at Wall Drug. I think you're starting to get the idea. These billboards were coming up over and over and over and over and over and over to the point where it was actually almost ridiculous. Okay, so here's what we've got: British Petroleum. Okay, and you get the idea here. So we've got multiple signs. I estimate that in what turned out to be a 50-mile stretch between Mount Rushmore, which is in Rapid City, South Dakota, and Wall, South Dakota, where what turns out to be called Wall Drug, it's actually an oversized drugstore, which is a tourist trap. In the 50-mile stretch, I estimate that there were about 100 billboards, roughly 100 billboards. And as luck would have it, we had just left Rapid City. We had 2 very small children out of my 6 children. One was about 8 months old. The other one was just 2 years old. They'd both fallen asleep, and we're in the first 20 minutes of what was probably going to be about a 2.5-hour nap. I begged my wife that we could stop and check this place out, Wall Drug, and she said, absolutely not. You never wake up kids that have that much nap left in them on a cross-country car trip. So I actually missed Wall Drug. I didn't get to see it. But that night, we got over to the east side of the state in Sioux City, South Dakota. I pulled out my computer. I looked it up, Wall Drug, and I found what I consider to be the most startling marketing statistic I've ever seen, which is as follows. Out of all of the cars that pass Wall Drug on any given day, the percentage of them that stop is 70%. 70%. I want you to think about that for a minute. That's over 20,000 visitors a day in the summertime. That's the peak season for this area. 20,000 visitors a day. It's almost as many as Mount Rushmore National Monument. And the question for you is, do you think that there's a correlation between the number of billboards placed and the conversion ratio of 70%? And the answer is, of course. It makes just perfect sense. It would be foolish to suggest otherwise. It's obvious. But here's a question. What if we reduce the number of billboards from 100 in 50 miles? That's 2 per mile at 90 miles an hour on the interstate freeway. That's about, what, every 11 seconds or something? Maybe every 20 seconds? What if we reduce that number from 100 down to maybe 50, one every mile, or maybe just 25, one every 2 miles? Would that somehow start to affect this conversion ratio of 70% of car stopping to something lower, maybe 50 or 40 or 30? What if we lowered it from 25 down to just 10, one every 5 miles, or maybe just 2? Do you think that the conversion ratio would go down? And the answer is, of course. And the point that I want to make here, and what I want you to keep firmly in mind as we go through this topic called proximity marketing, is that the old style send 3 postcards to the neighbors of your customers and sit there and wait for the phone to ring really isn't going to get the job done. Not anymore. People are more conservative with their money. Their time is more precious. Their attention is being hogged up by their iPhones and by the other 10 things in their mailbox or 22 things in their mailbox, by all the things going on in their lives. And what I'm trying to communicate to you is that the principle of frequency has a lot to do with how well this thing called proximity marketing works. So let's ask another question. The question is, if your neighbor buys a new television, do you automatically want one? Or if your neighbor gets a new hot tub, do you start wanting one immediately? And the answer is, well, you might, but we also have to admit that hot tubs and TVs are maybe a little more fun than windows or siding or a new roof. But the point is not how fun they are. Here's the real point. The point is, just because somebody buys something doesn't mean, first of all, are you even aware that your neighbor got a new TV? Maybe you see the box out in the trash. Are you even aware? And number 2, even if you are aware, do you automatically want one? And I think a lot of remodelers have a false notion that because the windows in this neighborhood, or because the roofs in this neighborhood, or because the people in this neighborhood are all 55 or older, therefore they might want a sunroom, or they might need a roof, or they might need to replace their windows. And we sort of put an onus on prospective customers of, well, you fit the profile, so why aren't you buying? And the reality is there's a law in nature called the law of 9,344. Write that down, the law of 9,344. Here's what it means. Everybody's got 9,344 things that they're concerned about, thinking about, worried about, or have to deal with at any given moment in time. And now your mailer is 9,345, and that's a problem. And we've got to find a way to bust through the clutter. Now, one of the ways that we bust through the clutter is we write marketing pieces that are engaging, that have power, precision, passion, that have identity, things that aren't really the topic of this particular webinar. But here's what I do want you to hear loud and clear. We've got to pound through, and we can do this with sort of a battering ram erosion. You hear about drip marketing? Well, I want to talk about erosion marketing, okay? That's going to be the foundation of this conversation. So why would you assume that when you sell somebody window siding, sunrooms, et cetera, that their neighbors are automatically going to want one? And the answer is you shouldn't, and hopefully you don't. So let's talk about proximity marketing versus what I call super robust proximity marketing. Regular proximity marketing, you send out a few postcards. Hopefully you'll catch somebody's attention. Hopefully they'll be aware that you even exist. And you're most likely to catch the nowest of the now buyers. Somebody who says, oh my gosh, I happen to be shopping for windows. Thank goodness my neighbor got these and you sent me this postcard, and I'll call you and maybe you can come over and give me a sales presentation, okay? That's proximity marketing. Now, look at the stats on our poll that I just gave you. Stat number 1, 40% have never even tried it. 30% tried it, but it didn't work, so they quit. 5% said it used to work, but then it quit. So we've got 75% that either are not doing this or well, we've got 95% actually that aren't doing anything. 20% says it works okay, but they just don't do it. And I got news for you. If it works okay for you, you probably would do it if it really worked super well for you. So here's what I'm trying to say. This is one of those things that a lot of people talk about. I hear it all the time. I do seminars. I talk to customers. We do business in the home improvement industry now for years and years, and I hear people talk about this all the time. But nobody ever really seems to have cracked the code. I'm going to show you how to crack the code. Okay? Super robust proximity marketing is a multi-touch program. Think wall drug. I want to use wall drug as a verb. We want to wall drug your prospects. Think of it as a verb. It's a multi-touch program designed to force people, neighbors specifically, to deal with you. Now, here's what it didn't say. Force them to buy from you, but we are going to be in their face sufficiently that they're going to have to deal with us. They may or may not have a need, but at least they're going to know the following when you're through. Number one, that their neighbor has used you. They're also going to know why their neighbor chose you instead of other companies. They're also going to know why they should get this service done. If it's a roof, they're going to know why they should get their roof checked out. If it's windows, they're going to know why their windows are not good. They're going to know why they should choose you to do it, and they're going to know that their neighbor loved you. There's 5 things. Now, if you take the traditional proximity marketing program, you send out the 3 postcards. One of them maybe says, pardon our dust. Another one says, hey, we're in the neighborhood. Maybe you've seen our trucks. These things are good. I'm not saying they're wrong or they're dumb or they don't do them. I'm saying that in and of themselves, they're not enough to get the job done. Think about this. Think about, I'll use a very crude hunting metaphor to make my point. Let's say that you were hunting King Kong, like in the movie, right, the big 40-foot tall gorilla. And let's say that you have a 22, all right, a 22. You know what a 22 is? It's pretty much the smallest caliber rifle you can get. It's good for shooting squirrels. If you shoot, say, an elk with a 22, it's going to look at you and just run off laughing. If you shot King Kong in the butt with a 22, what's going to happen? He's going to look at you like maybe a mosquito. It's no big deal. What we've got to do, though, is shoot again and again and again and again. And even if we can't get a larger caliber weapon, at least we can hit him over and over and over and get his attention. And I'm also going to show you how to pull out some larger, heavier-duty artillery so we can take down this monster. And in your case, it's called getting a customer. And what I'm trying to use is this very crude, very unorthodox, weird, you're probably wondering, you know, who I am analogy with King Kong is we've got to use not just bigger firepower, but enough firepower and enough quantity of firepower to land this deal, okay? So let's start with step number 1. I'm going to show you an 8-step program for getting the job done. The first thing we're going to do is use a customer overview sheet. Now what this is something that you're going to show your customer in the sales presentation. Now I'm going to show this to you, and you might say, well, I don't want to do that, or that's something I would never do, or this is not going to work within our system. And that's okay. You're free to say that, but I just want you to know this is the best way to make all of this work, okay? Your customer is going to need to participate to make this program a success. Now, I've created this program to minimize their need for active participation, but they are going to need to sign off on a couple things and say that they're willing to participate. I'll show you what those are in just a second. In this information sheet, you're going to leave it with them, and it's going to give them an overview of what their responsibility is. They're going to put a job site sign in their yard, which many of you probably already do. They're also going to keep flyers in a take one box. They're going to write a testimonial letter, and I'll show you how to make that easy. They're going to allow their name and picture to be put on stuff. And if your customers know what's expected up front, it's going to make running this program a lot easier, okay? And I'll get into more detail about what their participation is as we go through this. So here's what this could look like. Some of you may have run something like a showcase home program before. Help us spread the word. We'll pay you for your efforts. Make your home a showcase home. And they're going to put their sign out front, take one box, allow us to photograph the job before and after, allow us to use the photographs and promotional materials, and we'll send mailers to your neighborhood. What they do is they check that they'd like to save money, and what you do is you actually give them some kind of an incentive for participating in this program. Now, what I encourage you to do is to use this as part of your normal closing methodology. The percentage that you give them off can be anything you want. It can be 2%. It can be $100. It can be 5%. It can be 10%. It doesn't matter what it is. Just make sure that it works within your current setup. For many of you, I know because I do business with lots and lots and lots and lots of home improvement companies, I know that this is something that can fairly seamlessly fit into your current closing methodology. Here's another version. This is one where we specifically offer to give them 10% off. Help us spread the word and we'll reward you for your efforts. We'll give you up to 10% off. We're going to ask them for photographs, a job site sign, take one box mailers, and references, okay? I'd like to save money on my job by helping out. So let's look at the job site sign. Obviously, this lets the neighbor know that you're in the area, that you're doing a great job. You can make metal ones that are durable. You can make plastic disposable ones. My preference is metal ones, but I know that they're harder to deal with. You have to go pick them up later. You've got to have somebody manage it. It's easier just to put the disposable kind in people's yards. You do what's best for you, okay? If possible, use a phone number and a web address that's easy to remember. A lot of times people ask me, what should I say on the sign? What kinds of things should I put on the sign? The reality is the sign is hard to put a lot of information on because it's so small. So let me give you an example. Here's one, another stunning sunroom edition, free sunroom information kit in the tube. This one actually uses a tube as opposed to a take-one box. It's the same thing. Here's one for Freelight Windows, freelighaz.com. No sales pressure, no hassles, no regrets. We don't have a lot of information, but it's a job site sign, okay? We're not trying to convince the world through a job site sign. We're just trying to make them aware, hey, we're in this neighborhood, because they're going to see some other stuff from us coming through their mailbox and standing on their doorstep later on in this process. Remodel your bathroom in just 2 days. Here's another one we did for a company called thewindownerd.com. Great windows, no sales pressure, Taylor & Young windows, doors, and more. So you get the idea, job site sign. This is no mystery to anybody. Next, the Take One flyer. Do you currently use a Take One flyer? Even if you don't participate in super robust proximity marketing, I strongly encourage you to get a job site sign. Most of you already do that. I also encourage you to use Take One flyers. You will be shocked that they actually get taken. And you say, well, they get taken by the neighborhood kids. It's a waste of money. Don't think like that. If you print these in any kind of quantity, they're going to cost you pennies each, maybe 10 pennies each. Who knows? And if neighborhood kids run off with them, who cares? Because the times when they don't and actually people out walking their dog or jogging take one flyer, it can mean a lot of money. So don't get bogged down by the negative things that could happen. Focus on the good things that will happen, okay? When they see the sign, they're going to be interested. Okay, you probably know what this is, but here's what I want to do. I want the customer to be responsible for keeping the Take One box full, okay? I want the customer to be responsible. You say, well, I don't need the customer to do it. I'll do it myself. Great. If you can do it yourself, great. But the problem is a lot of you have enough jobs going that to have somebody keeping track of these, you say, well, my guy's there working. Yeah, but he's only there working for 1 or 2 or 4 or 8 days, depending on the kind of job. I want this to be there for a month, okay? And if it's there for a month, then I need somebody at that house who I've already incentivized by giving them a discount to be responsible for putting those things in the box. Now, you say, well, maybe they won't do it even if they agreed. Okay, that's fine. We don't want to make decisions to not do things because of the things that might go wrong. Obviously, some things are going to go wrong. Kids are going to take them. The people won't put them in when they're supposed to. But guess what? Sometimes the people will put them in, and sometimes the neighbor kids won't take them, and the thing will actually work. We've seen it happen over and over again, okay? It's easy. It's cost-effective. The Take-One boxes, you can buy them off the Internet. They're typically for the real estate industry. They cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 to $20 each, and you decide if that's a disposable thing or if you want to go pick it up later. So we might put a flyer that looks something like this, introducing the easy, no-hassle, no-pressure way to buy windows and skylights in Phoenix. Windows, doors, and skylights without the long, drawn-out sales meeting and confusing choices, free from pressure. We find out what you want, make recommendations, and step back and let you decide. We've got information about the website. We say what we include, what we leave out. We include a thorough needs analysis, specific recommendations, short demonstration, answer your questions, no hassle quote, what we leave out, long drawn-out presentations, boring technical talk, crazy buy-it-now price discounts, trial closes and hard closes, confusing pricing games. This is speaking to the identity of this company. They make it easy to do business with them, and I'm going to encourage you to make sure that you go through an identity process so that when you create materials like this, they're powerful like this one is. But you get the idea, okay? And you can see you stick it out there next to the sign. It's an easy deal. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is the Radius Postcards. This is the part of this program that you're probably most familiar with. But here's what's going to happen. As we go down this path of super robust proximity marketing, we're going to get more and more heavy artillery out. So let's go with some of the lower level artillery. Define a radius of 50 to 150 neighbors. Mail them postcards. You say, well, can you send that few postcards? And the answer is it costs more. You have to send them first class. You can't send bulk mail to 75 people, but it's only a few pennies more. Don't worry about it. 6 by 11 postcards work the best. You see here in parentheses it says LHRHTC. That stands for left hand, right hand trash can. We know people are going to throw these in the trash by and large. We know that they're not going to set them aside and say, oh my gosh, finally, here's my opportunity to buy windows from this company, Freelight Arizona. They're going to probably throw them away. But if we create the postcards the right way, with the right messaging, without the platitudes, we're going to communicate something powerful as they're throwing it away that will sink into them, okay? You don't need to time the send. Sometimes people say, well, we'll send out something before the job, during the job, and after the job. I'm telling you, that's a nightmare. It's a disaster. If you're good enough and smart enough to pull that off, more power to you. You probably aren't, though. The postcards can be customized with your customer's names and address for maximum impact. Back to that last point, timing the sends. Here's what I recommend. After the job is over, then start sending these out. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit later about using a product like Market Sharp to help you send these things out. I'm going to tell you this. All of the above, everything I'm talking about now in terms of mailers and getting these messages out is an absolute nightmare if you don't use some kind of software to help you do it. Market Sharp is perfect for doing this kind of thing. So we'll talk about that later, but just as a preview there, okay? We can customize these postcards with your customer's name and address if you want. We can put your customer's name. We can put your customer's address. We can even put their phone numbers. Sometimes people don't want to do that. They're not comfortable. My experience is that it makes it a little bit more effective, okay? Here's what we want to focus on in these postcards: identity, reasons for needing the service, and social proof. Let me show you some examples. This is the window nerd. I talked to you about him earlier. The Johnsons at 1231 Whispering Oaks Lane just bought their new windows from the window nerd. Great windows without all the sales pressure. And then the window nerd says, I love windows but hate selling situations. I'd rather just give you a quote over the phone if that's okay. And on the back of that, he talks about how he hates selling situations. They make him uncomfortable. You also notice that he has a $0 off coupon. That's for this specific customer because this company doesn't do any kind of discounts. They give you one price. That's it. There's nothing else involved. And so they kind of make fun of themselves by saying, look, we don't really give big fake discounts. Our price is our price. Other guys will give you fake discounts. And this is part of their identity, okay? The next one, 2 ways to get a window quote. Number 1, arm twisting. Number 2, just call us. Which do you prefer? And then this comes maybe 3-4 days after the first one. I don't recommend spreading these out much more than 2 or 3 or 4 days. The third one comes in. How many miles per gallon are you getting from your home's windows? If your windows are over 10 years old, the answer is not nearly enough. Call the window nerd for help. We're trying to help them see that, hey, you might need this service even though it's something you potentially haven't thought about before. Get the equivalent of 50-plus miles per gallon on your windows. And we show them that and this is for the Northeast where they've got cold weather, that the U factor on the NRFC label is equivalent roughly to the miles per gallon sticker that you would see on a car. We help them understand that 0.18 is great for a window. Okay, you get the idea how that works? Here's some for a closet organization company. One of your neighbors just installed a closet organizer. I'll go through these quickly. We don't need to focus a whole lot of attention on these other than to say we need to send out these postcards. Your closet now, the Johnson's closet on 1231 Whispering Oaks. Maybe you should consider an organizer too. You don't have to cram your stuff anymore. Guess who has the most organized closet in Southlake? The Johnsons at 1231 Whispering Oaks. That's who. Again, here's what we're hoping happens when this lands in the mailbox. We hope that even though it's very likely the person receiving the postcard does not know the Johnsons. People don't know their neighbors that well typically. Obviously there's exceptions, but generally they don't. But what we want them to do is to see that, hey, Whispering Oaks, that street's just 1 or 2 streets over from me. I know where that street is. And they're going to recognize this as being close to them. All right? There's a reason the Johnsons on Whispering Oaks chose the Closet Doctor. And no, it wasn't just because we offered the best price. Okay, so you get the idea. One more quick set. This is a company that we've seen, Freelight. We just replaced your neighbor's windows. This one's a little more generic. It doesn't use the customer's name. And I'm showing this to you just to show you that you can do it either way. Okay, you can do it either way. My preference is to put the Johnsons at 1231 Whispering Oaks. That's easy for us to manipulate. We can help you with that, but you don't have to do it that way. It does take more time and effort and energy to manipulate that for every job. You don't have to, is what I'm showing you here. Okay? Getting a quote on windows is fast and easy. 3 steps to savings. We've got a $500 discount. We've got a free estimate, and we've got some points about why this company is the best. Here's another one that says, would your neighbor recommend Freelight for new windows? We completed work for the Johnsons on 1231 Whispering Oaks. Call them and ask. And this is a situation where we actually would put their phone number on here. I don't show that because I don't want you to see their phone number, but we can put their phone number on here. And on the back, if you want even more references, here's 10 more who have bought from us recently, and we put the names and phone numbers and addresses. And these are customers, again, that have already agreed to participate in this program through the referral process, through the showcase home or through the process that I showed you the sheet for earlier. Another postcard, did you know that replacing your windows can make your home more efficient, can be done for as little as $187 a month? And this is one that focuses in on financing. Give us call us for an easy, no obligation window quote. So you get the idea. These are the postcards. Now, this is what most people do when they try proximity marketing, and it works to a very limited extent because of the shooting King Kong in the butt with the 22 problem. Remember, it's just not enough firepower to get through to make much of an impact, especially given the law of 9,344. What we want to do next, after sending out 3 postcards, maybe you send out 4 postcards, it's up to you. I think 3 is a good number. The next one is going to be a check mailer. Postcards do a good job of softening the ground. Now we're going to put some heavy artillery. The first heavy weapon is a check mailer. It looks like a check in an envelope. You've seen these before, right? You can get these and print these yourself through MarketSharp if you want. Determine the, you can give them you can give them a discount. These are going to get opened almost always, and it's going to spark a few calls. Okay, let's take a look. You're the only one left who hasn't installed a closet organizer. Here's one for Renewal by Anderson. We just replaced Ron and Joyce Severson's windows on Round Hollow Lane. We'd like to offer you a good neighbor discount if you do the same. This check is worth $500 off your replacement window purchase, and then we give them some reasons why Renewal by Anderson windows are the best. This gives you a close-up so you can see it. We make it look as much like an actual check as possible so that people say, oh, look, somebody sent me a check. They open it, and then we explain what our value proposition is. A couple more examples. Here's one for Taylor & Young, the guy that's the window nerd. This one's a little bit, it's kind of funny. I'm not recommending that you try to be a comedian, but this works for him. My marketing guy insisted you'd be dumb enough to believe this was a real check. I told him I don't offer stupid fake discounts, so here's a fake check for $0. Again, for him in his situation where he's trying to show that we don't play pricing games, this works very well into his identity. For more of a traditional company, we've got one like this. We just replaced one of your neighbor's windows. We'd like to offer you a good neighbor discount to do the same. The attached check is worth up to $500 off. We show some of the reasons that people do business with us. It's a simple check mailer. It's usually a legal size piece of paper, 11.5 by 14. It folds 4 times and goes in an envelope with a window, so it looks like a check. Okay? It's pretty simple. The next thing is the customer testimonial letter. The customer testimonial letter is the next piece of heavy artillery, sent in a personal-looking envelope that can be computer-generated, handwritten fonts, but it looks like it came from the neighbor. The marketing piece speaks directly to the neighbor, explains how thrilled they are with the work you've done, and we can actually create this in a template so that the customer only has to sign off on it, not actually write it. If you start getting into a situation where you say, hey, I want you to write a testimonial letter, that's good, and I'm encouraging you to do that, but to get it in a timely fashion so that you can actually put it in an envelope and send it to the neighbors is something that is too big of a hurdle to ask you to jump over on a consistent basis. So what we'll do is we'll template it. Okay? So I'll show you an example. Here's an example of the letter. It just goes in a normal envelope on a normal piece of paper. It's typewritten. It would be nice if it was handwritten, but that's really too hard to manage. It says it's from Joe Stevens, 1221 Tyler Street in Southlake, so that they recognize, hey, this is one of my neighbors. It says, if you've even thought about replacing your windows, read this letter. Dear neighbor, I've never sent a letter like this before. I'll probably never send one again. I recently had my windows replaced from a company called Freelight. They asked me if I would be willing to send a testimonial letter to my neighbors if I was pleased with the job. Normally, I would have probably said no thanks. But I have to tell you, I really did have an extraordinary experience. And if you have considered replacing your windows, I can wholeheartedly recommend this company. Freelight claims that they are free, that they free you from all the usual problems associated with dealing with home improvement contractor. Things like high sales pressure, pricing games, unmet promises, and so forth. I want you to know that's exactly what happened. My experience was as follows. Short sales meeting, 45 minutes or so. Other companies stay 2 or 3 hours, and I start to give some of the contrasting elements of how this company is better than their competitors. No pricing games. They'll give you a price in writing, then stick with it. Other companies inflate their price, then lower it if you buy on the first meeting. No sales pressure, fair pricing, lifetime warranty, genuinely nice people. Every person I met from sales to installation was very friendly, well-dressed, easy to talk to, etc. Anyway, if you're thinking about replacing your windows, give these guys a call. They were great to work with. You can reach Chip Marvin, the owner, by calling. Here's the phone number. Tell him I said to call. If you have any questions, feel free to call me and then the customer's phone number, or email me and then the customer's email address. Thanks, Josephus. Now, you see why earlier I said we want to get the prospect, we want to get your customer to participate, because it makes this more real. It makes this more effective. Some of your customers might say, well, I don't want to do that. I'm scared of that, or it's too much bother. And that's okay, but this is what's ideal. This is where we're going to start. Again, remember my conversation earlier? Because things don't always work out doesn't mean you shouldn't do them. I'm telling you, do this because often it will work out. And then we send it in a regular-looking envelope that has a regular stamp on it that looks kind of like this, okay? Next is door-to-door. Create a list of the neighbors and have your designated canvasser knock them all. Now, some of you just said, okay, you had me till now, but now you lost me because we don't do canvassing. I am not asking you to do canvassing. I am not asking you to have a full-blown canvas with vans, with managers, and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying find a single person. I don't mean an unmarried person. I mean one single individual after the multiple touches, the signs, the postcards, the mailers, the check mailer, the testimonial mailer. Your canvassing efforts are going to be very effective, a lot more effective than if you just showed up cold with the canvasser. And this is something that we can provide you with the scripting. And what you do is you give this to your canvasser, and you give them a script. I won't go over the script now. It's not relevant to the specific. The specifics of it aren't important to this conversation. Suffice it to say we have a script. And in this script, they're going to keep a clipboard with them and make notes. If they knock on 100 doors, they're going to make a note how many doors they actually talked to somebody and what the result was. Was it a door slam? Was it a don't come back? Was it a no thank you? Was it a my dad's not home? And they're going to continue to go back to the neighborhood until they reach maybe 3 or 4 times through the neighborhood, making sure they talk to as many as they can. Okay, you can pay the person that does this based on performance, and then you're going to have them, like I said, record the outcome of each door knocked, go back to the neighborhood 3 more times, and leave a door hanger if the person is not home. I recommend that your canvasser goes at different days of the week, different times of the day to reach as many people as possible, and then leave a huge door hanger each time they go. Okay, let me show you what the door hanger looks like. We're going to put what I call a big bill hanger together. A big bill hanger has a huge dollar bill. This is one that we put together for the window nerd, just to give you an example. And his is for $0 because he doesn't give discounts. Remember, that's kind of the ongoing theme with this guy. So this is a little bit funny because it's a $0 door hanger. But here's what you need to understand about this door hanger. It looks, you're looking at it on your computer screen, and if your computer screen is like mine, it's not that big, and so this looks fairly small. In reality, this is 17 inches tall by 7.3 inches wide. It's tremendously large, and the jarring effect it has on people that see it is palpable. You put this on their door. On the other side of it, it says, looking for great windows without all the sales pressure, then call the energy, then call the window nerd, call us for a free quote. Again, we're going to knock on the door. If they're there, we're going to go through a script. We're going to try to set an appointment. If they're not there, we're going to leave the door hanger. We're going to go through this list of people that we've been sending these mailers to as many times as we can to get through as many of the people as we can and actually talk to them. If they are not there, we're going to leave a door hanger. So here's a $500 bill, and then you'll notice again, this is the same client, Freelight, introducing the easy, no hassle, no pressure way to buy windows and skylights in Phoenix. So if they don't take our take one, if they don't pay attention to our mailers, we're going to put this now on their door, and we're going to attempt to talk to them. Now, some of you might be saying the following. Number one, wow, that takes a lot of effort. And the answer to that is, yes, it does. And guess what? It works. And things that work tend to take effort. Guess what? Your competitors are not doing this. I promise you. Look at the statistics on this webinar. We've got several hundred people on this webinar, and I've got 93% saying they don't do anything, let alone this. They don't do any kind of neighborhood mailers. None. Only 7% of you are doing anything. So this is going to be something that you can do that none of your competitors are doing. Statistically, 93% are not doing this. And the fact that you're doing it super robust means that you're actually going to get through to people. See, I'm trying to use the wall drug approach to break through the law of 9,344, which is your biggest obstacle to getting business. Here's what you'll find. You start knocking on people's doors. Yeah, some people are going to throw you off. Yeah, some people are going to be upset. Yeah, some people are going to say, I'm not interested. But you'll see that your ratios start going up. The next objection that you have to this process is not only does it take a lot of effort, but it also costs a lot of money. Now, here's the great thing about it costing a lot of money. Number one, nobody else is going to do it. But number two, it doesn't have to cost that much money, and you can test this very conservatively. Go take 2 or 3 job sites and run this out there to 50 or 100 people. You can digital print and mail these. Market Sharp can help you send these things out. It's not that hard to do. We can help you do this if you want someone to just offload it to, or if you want to do it yourself, Market Sharp is the perfect tool. And here's what happens. You spend a few $100 to test this, and if it works, and I'm telling you, this works, but only if, what? You actually execute it the way that it's prescribed. If you don't, you know, you're going to get the results that we've seen from our poll. Okay, so here's what we've just accomplished. Many neighbors will have seen the job sign. Some will take the flyer. Every single one's received 3 postcards. They've all gotten a check mailer. They've all received a testimonial mailer. Over half have talked personally to your rep, assuming that he knocks the neighborhood a few times. The rest have found several door hangers. Minimum contacts 6, maximum contacts 10 or 12. Have you ever read the greatest book on sales and marketing? Here's what it is. It's green eggs and ham. Do you want some green eggs and ham? No, I do not like them, Sam, I am. How about here or there? I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham, Sam, I am. Would you like them in a house or with a mouse or in a fox or with a box or in a rain or in the train? And the salesperson who's on the screen, Sam, I am, continues to go back to the prospect over and over and over, not just with the same message, not just with the same delivery, but with different options, different ways to look at it, different angles, selling something that is green eggs and ham because it represents something that doesn't initially appear to be that appealing, and through this wall drugging type effort. Remember, all the wall drug billboards were not identical. They all look different. Different angles, different things to catch your attention. And by doing this, and by the final act of having the person stand on the doorstep, I'm telling you, this works. Finally, it actually works. Okay? Now, on this slide, you see all of the different pieces of the super robust proximity marketing. I am going to tell you at the end of this webinar how you can get all of this for free from us. All of this for free from us. Okay? I'm going to tell you how to do that, but not until the end of the webinar, so stick around with me. You see all these things on here? We got the postcards on the upper left. We got the check mailer. We've got the customer take one flyer. On the lower left, we've got the letter that shows here's how this thing works. We've got the job site sign. We've got the big bill with the big flyer on the back of it. In the middle with this black square is the letter, the testimonial letter. I'm going to tell you how to get all of this from us for free at the end of this webinar. So stick with me, okay? Now, let's take another poll. Actually, I'm going to take another poll in just a minute. Before we do that, let's give away some books. I'm going to go to Judy. Judy, oh, hang on. All right, I got to unmute Judy. Judy, are you with me? Hang on. Oh, here you are.
Hi, Rich. This is Dave Wilson. I'm afraid I can't hear you anymore, but if it's time for my bath wraps introduction, I'm happy to do so.
It is time. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to introduce Bath Wraps by Liners Direct. My name is Dave Wilson. I'm the marketing director. Bath Wraps is the leader in one-day bath remodeling, and when you hear that term, think of tub-to-shower conversions, walk-in bathtubs, and traditional bath systems. We offer our dealer network exclusive territories, business owner boot camp training to help launch their new bath business. We have outstanding in-field sales and installation training and support, exclusive iPad selling tools, including a Build-A-Bath app available free on the iTunes Store, and I urge you to download it. But most important of all of our launch and support tools is our lead generation program run by Headquarters Marketing. You may not like green eggs and ham, but most everyone on this call sure does like leads, and that's what we provide our new and existing dealers. Leads, leads, leads. Our focus of success really comes down to launching, supporting, and generating these exclusive leads in your exclusive territory. To learn more about Bath Wraps by Liners Direct, please download our Market Smart Business System brochure at www.linersdirect.com/dealer. Again, linersdirect.com/dealer. Or email me, Dave, at linersdirect.com. Thanks, Rich. It's a pleasure to support your content.
Thank you, Dave. And just to reiterate what Dave just said, I want you to know when you're a bath wraps dealer, how many leads do you want? That's how many they'll sell to you at a very, very reasonable price. It's one of the most amazing programs. Look into this. Seriously consider it. I strongly recommend it. Sorry for the technical glitch before Dave came on. I do have 2 book winners to announce. The first one is Aaron Applegate from Applegate Insulation out of Weberville, Michigan. Thank you, Aaron. We will send that book to you later today. You'll receive it in a couple days. And the second one is Kevin Golden from Santa Clara, California, renowned home improvement. Kevin, you have won a book. Thank you for participating in today's webinar. Here's what's going to happen for the rest of the webinar. We have about, we'll end at about 15 after. I will then take as many questions as you have. We're going to get into the next set of content, which is on getting referrals. Before we do that, I'm going to go to our last sponsor, which is Tim Mush from Market Sharp. And let me see if I can find Tim on here. Oh, Tim, sorry, I lost you. Just kidding. There you are. Tim?
All right, Rich, thanks. All right, why don't you put the next slide, Rich? All right, there we go. Yeah, a couple words about Market Sharp. First off, I think everybody here knows that's had any dealings with us over the past, 20 years. We've been talking about this stuff forever. And yeah, it used to be simpler. It used to be very simple. Get a postcard out, follow the phone call, work like a charm. But times have changed, as Rich is pointing out, and I think he's put together just an awesome program that does have some light artillery and some heavy artillery to help you pull this off. So next slide, Rich. Really what we call this is micro-marketing. It's kind of a term we have here at Market Sharp, and it's really a term that I think sums up what Rich talks about too. It's not doing the shotgun stuff anymore, but really zoning in. And when you look at that thing that's circled there, what we're talking about here is have a goal in your company to get at least one other job for every job you install by doing the kind of things we're talking about here today. And with the things Rich has mentioned, I'm sure you could do even more than that. Everything is perfect. The homes in the neighborhood are perfect. The people know each other. I mean, why wouldn't we want to leverage this stuff? So it just makes sense. So next slide, we got some tools here at Market Sharp. I think many of you know that can make this really easy. We got 2. You can use our Market Sharp CRM program, Market Sharp M. It's got built-in templates in there that you can go ahead and get the stuff created. By stuff, I mean postcards you want to send out, check mailers, some of the things Rich talked about right from the program, print them in your office, get them in the mail. If you want a more fulfilled thing, we got an integration with a print fulfillment company that utilizes our Market Sharp mail portal that'll do it all for you. Right from Market Sharp, you can go ahead and initiate the process and find neighbors of everybody and say, hey, I want this postcard to go out. You can customize it, put an offer in there, put pictures in there of the homeowner or the job, or the job sign, whatever you want to do. And those things are printed and dropped in the mail for you the next day. So it's kind of a done-for-you option that a lot of people are taking advantage of. An example of a marketing piece that might come out of that is the next slide, and it's really kind of cool. It's got a picture of the homeowner you just finished a job for, so certainly that gives relevance to the neighborhood. Any offer you want on there. It's got some matching door hangers that might work with what Rich described, and maybe you want to put that big bill on the other side of this, but it does have the pictures of the homeowners and things like that. So all this stuff is really done for you. And going beyond that, next slide is just going to show you in general, you know, the market chart program really does a lot of stuff. Certainly things we talked about here today, but certainly a lot more. If you go to the next slide, we're going to talk about some of the functionality. Certainly it's going to help you with all the prospecting things you got going on, lead generation. It's also going to help you manage all this stuff, get reports. You know, Rich is going to talk about referrals in a bit. It's going to help you with that. It's going to help you with cross-selling past customers. It's going to help you do regulation compliance. You know, really designed to help you with everything you got your business needs. So if you'd like more information on Market Sharp, certainly give us a call or visit marketsharp.com to learn more. But one more slide, because I want to give you a preview of something that's coming real soon, and we are really excited about this. Not coming next week, but very probably in first quarter 2013. It's called trigger marketing. And think of this. You got a trigger in your business, and the trigger is you got a job sold. So the job sold, you say within Market Sharp, you say, hey, I want to go ahead and pull the trigger on a marketing campaign around that job. So you just click one little icon in Market Sharp to do that, and guess what? You unleash a whole bunch of stuff, many of the things Rich talked about, plus a whole lot more. First off, it'll initiate the postcards that are going to be printed out, dropped in the mail for you. Multiple response mechanisms. You got QR codes in there. They can text their response should they want to do it via their mobile phone. But there's also a web address they can put in that's personalized, and here's the cool thing, personalized to that person. And by doing that, it's going to take them to a landing page where they put either the code in for their personal landing page that's on the postcard, and then it's immediately going to take them to a pre-generated personalized landing page for that homeowner. Of course, with a picture of the job you just did, picture of the homeowner, all neat stuff that's tying together offline and online marketing. But it doesn't stop there. It takes you to that web page, and then it's automatically going to update your Facebook account, your Twitter account with what just happened. Hey, we just finished a job ad. So everything is happening for you automatically. Then if you look at the final thing in the upper right, when people go ahead and submit responses on that web page, automatically you are going to get those leads emailed to you in real time, and you go to work with them. So, you know, things are getting pretty cool in terms of automation. They really are. So we're excited about this. You know, watch for this come 2013 from Market Sharp. I really think it takes this proximity marketing, and Rich calls it super robust, and maybe we got to add one more adjective with it with this one, because adding the web element to this, I think, is the key to make sure we are combining online and offline marketing. So that's all I got, Rich. Again, you can get more information about the services at Market Sharp at marketsharp.com, or if you want to just learn more about our automated direct mail services, go to marketsharpmail.com, and you can learn more. So thanks, Rich, and let's carry on.
Thanks, Tim. I think we're going to call that ridiculous proximity marketing, because that, I mean, yeah, you want to talk about micro-marketing and really hitting individual prospects. It's fantastic. Thanks so much, Tim. Appreciate you, as always, being a sponsor. And let's go to the next part of this, getting them referrals. The smart way to get referrals, and I'm not talking about just asking for them. Problem with referrals is that nobody gets nearly as many as they would like to get. And what we've got to do is find a way to understand how to get the most referrals, because most people's thought process is really not right. Everyone wants more referrals. The problem is that the salespeople never ask for them. You have too many other things to worry about. You have no system in place. Everything's always reactive. Salespeople ask for them. They don't get them, so they quit asking. You tell them to keep asking. They forget to ask. There's just not a lot of reward, so people don't do it. And I'm not suggesting, oh, we'll give them a bigger reward for asking. The problem is, the reality is that most people don't have referrals for you when you ask for them. Think about this for just a minute. Let's assume for a minute that you asked your customer, hey, who do you know that might also want some windows? That person is going to do a quick mental inventory of the people that they would feel comfortable enough to refer, and they are very likely going to come up blank. And here's why. Because you don't keep a mental inventory of all of your friends' needs of all the various things in life at the tip of your brain. You just don't. My brother-in-law started running a couple years ago. I'm a runner, and we went running together. It was the first time he had run, and after we got done, I said, how'd it go? And he said, it was great, except my shins hurt. He said, I think I need some new shoes. These shoes I have aren't going to cut it for running. And he said, hey, what about your shoes? Do you like them? And I said, yeah, these shoes are great. And at the time, it was a shoe called the Nike Zoom Vomero 3. I love this shoe. It was so comfortable. It was just an awesome shoe. And I raved and raved and raved about it. And I told him he needs to go get these shoes. Now, let's go back 2 months earlier to when I purchased those shoes at the store. If the clerk would have asked me, hey, do you know anybody else that might want some of these shoes? I would have honestly said no, because I didn't really know. And this is the key to understanding how to get referrals, is to understand, acknowledge, and accept the fact that most people really don't know somebody who is going to be a referral for you right now. However, that will change over time as they talk about your product or service with people, okay? They've got better things to do than actively sell for you. Most of your customers don't know somebody who needs what you sell right now. Don't be disappointed if you ask and don't get any. The key is to make sure you have a strong recommendation whenever the topic naturally comes up in the future, like when my brother-in-law asked me about my running shoes. This is the key right here, is to understand that human nature suggests that people do not keep running tallies of all the things that all their friends need, okay? But they do tend to talk about things that they've purchased. They do tend to talk about things that have helped them out, and it tends to spark conversations with people later on. So if you're putting all of your hope on getting referrals at the point of sale, you're probably going to be vastly under-leveraged, okay? Getting referrals is a lot more like farming than hunting, so you'd better start planting right now. So here's 3 steps to getting more referrals. Number 1, focus efforts on the customer experience. This is going to go fast, guys. This is a very short segment. It's going to take about 10 minutes to get through it, and then we're going to wrap up. I'll take some questions, and we'll give away some products, and I'll tell you how to get the super robust proximity marketing program for free, okay? Focus efforts on the customer experience. When people have a great experience, they'll be more likely to naturally refer you to their friends. Number 2, and I'll go through these steps here in just a minute. Proactively reward customers for the referrals using reciprocity to your advantage. And number 3 is ask for referrals using marketing. Marketing, meaning through marketing, typically it's going to be mail or email, in a systematic, consistent way. Don't leave it up to chance. So let's talk about step number 1, customer experience. The more that you wow your customers, the more likely they are going to be to give you referrals. So you got to focus on the customer experience. Here's what I strongly suggest. If you have not seen my webinar on the topic of identity, which I've alluded to on at least 3 occasions on this webinar, I strongly recommend that you go to my website, mymonline.com, go to the right-hand column, the right-hand navigation that's yellow that says Remodelers, and go to Webinar Archives and watch the webinar entitled Standing for Something. Here's what's going to happen. If people understand what you do and why you're better and why you're different, and if you clearly communicate and articulate this with people, they are going to be way more likely to be more confident in their purchase after they made it with you, and more likely to remember you after the fact, and more likely to refer you, because they're going to be aware of what you did for them, as opposed to if you just are good, but you haven't told them, they haven't specifically seen you talking about this, particularly in your marketing, it's not going to be as strong in them. So identity is a critical component to all marketing, including this. We also have pre-positioning. Again, another topic for another day. I did this webinar also on the archive page, but that's an important part of this, the customer presentation, the way that you treat them. If you're involved in high-pressure sales, I'm going to tell you this right now, your customers aren't going to want to refer you nearly as much as if you treated them with respect. That's a call that you need to make. You need to look at your closing ratios. You need to look at your methodologies, and you need to decide, because I've seen this over and over and over again. Companies that tend to use high pressure tend to get very few referrals. That's a fact. Customers that tend to treat people with respect and let people know, hey, we're not applying pressure in the sales environment, they tend to get way more referrals. Follow-up calls from the sales manager, the owner, also tend to increase customer satisfaction with the job and get referrals. Not necessarily at the point of the call, but later on. Also, this is a big one, constant communication throughout the job. Here's a problem. You know what your sales process and your installation process looks like. Take Windows, for example. You're going to sell the job. You're going to measure the job. You're going to send that order to the factory. It's going to take 2 or 3 or 4 weeks for that order to get fulfilled by the factory, shipped to your establishment. You've got to schedule it for installation, and then you go out there. Well, that could be 4 or 5 weeks. And if the customer is hearing nothing during that 5 weeks, they're going to think, man, did they forget about me? What happened? And you say, well, no, we told them. But see, they've never gone through this process before. So if you will just take a systematic approach to saying, look, here's a sheet of paper that explains exactly what's about to happen, and then communicating with them via telephone or email 2 or 3 times during that 3 or 4 week period of time, it's going to make them that much more comfortable with you and like you more, and those things are the things that give you a better customer experience, which leads to more referrals later. Under promise, over deliver goes without saying. If your customers love you, they're going to be more likely to refer you to their friends. Let me tell you an example. Rise and shine. Find things that people hate, eliminate them. Give people warm and fuzzies they won't get from anyone else, and this formula will never go out of style. I'm going to tell you a story about Dan from Zen Windows in Columbus, Ohio. Here's what happened with Dan. He was in the window business for a bunch of years, selling them the old-fashioned way, high pressure, get in, one call, close. He went to a clothing boutique one day. They measured him, told him to come back in 3 days and buy if he liked what they created for him. He thought, wow, that was easy. He looked at his brothers. He's got a brother that's a lawyer, and he says, my brother's sales process is to do a consultation, not to hard close, not to a one-call close. He doesn't treat people the way we treat people in the window business. So he decided to destroy the traditional business model, and here's what he does. He always shows up early. He gives quotes in 5 minutes, not an hour and a half or 2 hours. He has set prices. There's no pressure at all. He doesn't even ask for the sale. He simply gives them the quote and says, if you want to do it, let me know. He only requires one spouse present. He has fair prices. He requires no money up front. He does not collect a nickel on the job until it's done. Now, I did not tell you to run your business this way. You run the business the way that you feel like it's going to work for you best. I'm just telling you that this is the way that Dan runs his business, and I'm telling you that his customers absolutely, unabashedly love him. His closing ratios are in the 70 to 80% range. Examine yours for a minute and then make a conclusion. Now, here's the interesting part. Here's the payoff. In the first year of his business, less than 10% of his business came from referrals. Why? He didn't have any past customers that could refer. In the second year, it went to 20. In the third year, it went to 35%. In year 4, it went to over 50%. And now he's in about year 7 or 8 of his business, and it hovers in the 55 to 60% range. All of his business, 60%, 55% comes from referrals. Why? Because his customers love him. You want to talk about lowering your marketing costs? Try getting 55 or 60% of your business from referrals, okay? Now, let's talk about identity. You don't have to sell windows in 5 minutes and require no money up front, but you do have to do something interesting and unique that people look at and say, wow, I want to do business with this company. I'm going to give you an example of a couple companies, just showing you some ads. This is for a remodeling company. You can see that they specialize in breathtaking kitchens. What kind of kitchen makeover do you want? We hate ordinary. They've drawn a line in the sand. I'm having a mini discussion with you right now about the principle of identity. If you can make people understand why you're different and better and unique, then it's so much easier for them to love you and then in turn referrals over to you. Here's a kitchen remodeling company. We're not the fastest. We're not the cheapest. We are, according to our customers, the best. I could honestly care less if you have a list of 3 remodelers who are cheaper than me. You understand, here's what's happening. We're setting a bar. We're setting a standard. We're making people like us by showing them exactly what they can expect with us in powerful, precise, passionate language. This is identity. This is what causes referrals to go up. Okay, bathroom remodeling in just 1 day. Bathroom remodeling, we're faster than the rest, like 6 weeks faster. The point of this is not to go through these in detail, but just to show you a couple of quick examples to say when your identity is strong, people understand who you are, what you stand for, what to expect from you. They look for positive things. They give you more credit for the things that you do well. They like you better. And one result of that, aside from higher closing ratios, higher sales prices, is also more referrals. This is something that you have got to do, is create this identity for your business, okay? Now, that was step 1, is to wow your customers. Step 2 is to proactively reward them. Without a proactive referral system in place, you're only going to get a fraction of the referrals that you would be getting. So here's what you do. Give your customers a reward up front and build reciprocity that can be beneficial later on. If you've wowed them, your customers should see this gift as an exclamation point at the end of a great experience. What I'm suggesting you do is allocate money and send your customers a gift at the end of the process. Your gift acts as a thank you, and as a way to request referrals that they'll give you either then and especially in the future, okay? So first thing, identify a gift. Decide on a gift that has a high perceived value. Send it to your customers. Create a letter that expresses appreciation and send it along with the free gift. Let them know that you won't destroy their friends. Offer to send them reports, prepositioning items. Here's what you want to make sure they know. We're not going to come in and be obnoxious and say, hey, your friend told us you got $10,000 for Windows. We're not going to do stupid stuff like that. We want them to be aware of that. Now, if we've treated them well during the entire process of them being our customer, that's not going to be that big of a concern for them. Follow up on the telephone and ask them, okay, what kind of gift should you give? Well, make sure that the gift is worth an amount that makes sense based on how much they spent with you, okay? If they bought a $40,000 sunroom, a $10 movie ticket might seem like a little chintzy. It's almost better just to not send anything. Now, if they spent $40,000 with you and you send them a $50 or $100 Ruth's Chris Steakhouse gift card, that's something that might be a little bit better. You say, well, I don't want to spend that kind of money. Well, why not? It was a $40,000. Raise the price to $40,500 if you have to, okay? Here's what's going to happen. They're going to be sitting around eating Ruth's Chris, looking at their food going, man, I love that company that sold me that sunroom. Look how nice they are. They sent me here. They gave me this great sunroom. It was a fantastic experience. And it's going to be a positive thing for you and for them. Gift cards are easy to administer. Restaurants are best because everybody loves to eat. I prefer actually to send a present, something that comes in a box, a gift, because it has a huge curiosity factor. But they're harder to administer. So you got to weigh that. If you've got a lot of jobs, especially, I would just recommend going with the gift card, okay? Keep it simple. If the program's hard to execute, it's not going to happen. Keep it simple. Send a letter along with the gift. Have one person in your company who's responsible. Don't tell your salespeople to do this. They won't do it. Or they'll do it once and then they'll forget. Or they'll do it every once in a while. Or they'll take all the gift cards and go to Ruth's Chris themselves. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Have one person in the company that is responsible for this. Have a lot of the gift stock on hand so you're not constantly running over to Chili's to get the gift cards or whatever. Just have it there. And make sure it goes out within a day or two of the completion of the job, okay? This is how we're going to get referrals, okay? We send a letter. As you've noticed, I've sent you a gift card for dinner at Chili's. It's one of my favorite restaurants. I wanted to send it to you for two reasons. The first one is to thank you for allowing us the opportunity to do this job. I'm just going to quickly go through this. The second is I'm asking you in advance to help us get the word out about Integrity Windows and Doors. I'm hoping that your experience has been good enough that you'd feel comfortable recommending us to your friends or associates, okay? You see how this works? It's pretty simple stuff. We're going to tell them what's included. It's a product report. There's a $250 gift card. The details of this can be worked out. If you're wondering how to do this, feel free to call our office. We'd be happy to walk you through this. It's not that big of a deal. And it also says at the bottom there, notice, you don't have to participate in this referral program to use this Chili's gift card. We're letting them know we appreciate your business, okay? So let's talk about a customer mailing program now. This is the third step. The first step was to wow them. The second step was to send out the gift card to them after the job. The third step is now we want to continually mail these customers after the job for years to come. Because why? When are the referrals most likely going to naturally occur during the lifetime of this customer? Well, they're going to happen when they're having natural conversations with their friends later. So we've got to stay in front of them, okay? If you sell something like sunrooms or roofs that you only sell once to that customer, you don't need to really ask them for more business. If you sell multiple services, you can go back and ask your customers for additional business. Now, what I'm trying to say here is as you continue to mail to your customers on the back end, you can either ask them for more business and referrals, or you can just simply go back and ask for referrals. It would be kind of silly to say, hey, we sold you a sunroom, do you need another one? Because obviously they don't, okay? So remember, your customers have a life. You could have built the most beautiful kitchen on the planet. 12 months later, they're going to forget your name. You need to invest time and money to keep yourself fresh and relevant in their mind. The best way to do it is through the mail. What I recommend is that you send them a mailer 4 to 6 times per year. Probably 4 is plenty. Newsletters are usually garbage. I'm not saying that all newsletters stink and don't send newsletters. I'm saying that most of them that I've seen are not that great. You might want to consider spiffing it up a little bit, putting some real useful information. But you don't even have to do newsletters. Just keep your name in front of them. Send a postcard. It gets the point across best. It's quick. It's easy. Letters are okay. Thank them for their business. Ask them for referrals. It's really just that easy. You can also call them on the phone and ask for referrals. If you've wowed them, if you've gifted them, then this referral card, request card, should evoke a positive feeling and keep you in the front of their mind. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay. Let's talk about how much this is going to cost. Financially speaking, you already spend $200 for leads right now, right? True enough? You close 35%, that means that you're spending $571 for every new customer you get in marketing cost. If you assume that this program will get one new referred customer for every 10 customers you have, Tim says you should try to get one for every one customer, but if you only get one for every 10, then you've got a budget of $57 per customer. If you spent $4 for 5 years on mailing, that's going to cost you $20, and then you could actually send them a gift later on if you wanted to. You got $37. Here's what I'm trying to say. From a financial standpoint, this is very, 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 very doable. You just have to do it. It takes a little time and effort. Again, this is one of those things that MarketSharp is perfect for because it'll help you manage these things, and it can send these things out on an automated basis. So let's go through a couple of questions. How can I get my salespeople to ask for referrals? The answer is you almost cannot. If we had a good answer for that question, we would not keep asking that question. I'm going to recommend that encourage them, spiff them, give them a bonus if they get them. That's okay. But here's what I've seen time and time again. They're just going to drop off and they're not going to do it. So put the marketing program in place. What about rewards programs where you pay your customer for referrals? Here's my advice to you on that. If you do that, make the reward worthwhile. Consider how much money you are willing to pay for a new customer through normal marketing channels and be willing to pay a commensurate amount. We have a customer right now, Hanson's Windows in Detroit, if you're familiar with them. They offer $100 to anybody for any referral that has an appointment. They don't even have to buy, and they will refund your project cost up to $10,000 if you give them 6 referrals to buy. I mean, it's a crazy program, but they understand their numbers. They understand how much it costs to accrue a new customer, and they're willing to pay it to their customers if they can avoid having to pay it through TV and radio and newspaper, okay? Next question, how can I actually execute on this customer follow-up program? I already answered that question. You've got to get some kind of a CRM program that helps you manage these mailers like MarketSharp. Should I allocate the new customer gift expenses to cost of goods sold or to marketing? I'm going to encourage you, instead of looking at it as a marketing cost, I'm talking about the gift card, look at it as a part of the job cost. So you've got your cost for the windows, you've got the cost for the labor, you've got the cost for the salesman and the caulk and all the other stuff. Add $50 for the gift card. It makes it a little easier for you to manage that mentally. What's the biggest hurdle to implementing this? The answer is just deciding to do it and doing it. Okay? Remember this, your customers have better things to do. Most of them don't know somebody who needs what you need sell right now. The key is to make sure you get a strong recommendation when the topic comes up in the future, okay? So let's talk now. We're going to go ahead and end up here. I'm going to give away the 3rd book, and I'm also going to give away the Remodeling Contractors Marketing Bootcamp CD set. I'm also going to tell you how to get the Super Robust Proximity Marketing Program for us for free. To do that, I'm going to tell you how to do business with Monopolize Your Marketplace. Okay? We offer foundational marketing that you have to have in order to operate your business. It starts with forging your identity. I've alluded to that several times. We can help you create an identity. Then you choose which packages make the most sense for your business. We create websites. We have pre-positioning materials, home shows, proximity like we just discussed today. We've got new mover programs, search engine optimization, pay-per-click, ad writing. These are all things that we offer to our customers. It's modular. It's easy to afford. Let me show you how that works. The next thing that you need to do is go request an identity consultation and website evaluation. You can do this on our website. When you go through this identity consultation, we're going to discuss your business. We're going to look at what makes you tick, what your identity is. We're going to evaluate your website. To request a consultation, go to mymonline.com/consultation. You can see that web address right now on your screen at the top of the screen, and you will see this form, and all you've got to do is fill out the form, and you can set your appointment right there on the spot. You don't have to call us. You don't have to do anything. We have a limited bandwidth to do these. We've got hundreds, literally, of people on this call right now. After these webinars, we always fill up very quick. My recommendation is, if you'd like to entertain the idea of doing business with us, or if you just want a free consultation to talk about your identity, go to mymonline.com/consultation, and you can set your appointment right there on the spot. It'll send you an automated confirmation, and we will call you at the appointed time, and we will have that consultation with you. I have my senior consultants do those, so you're going to be talking to an MYM expert, not some kind of a lackey, okay? Now, here's a specific package that we have for sale. It's called mymonline.com/bonus package. You can see this on our website, and this is where I'm going to get into telling you about our free offer for the free proximity marketing program, okay? So in this package, here's what you buy from us. We sell training packages, marketing training. It's called the MYM Insider. You see it right here on the screen. It costs $4,990 per year. It includes 6 webinars per month that I do that train companies on how to do their marketing. We've got over 300 recorded, summarized, and archived webinars on our website. We've got over 1,000 ads in our library online. 500 of them are for remodeling contractors. You can use that as a resource for your business. We'll review up to 3 marketing pieces for you a month as a part of this MYM Insider Platinum membership. It's $4,990. We also have a live training program that we normally sell for $8,000. It's 4 days of hardcore intensive marketing training. This is not for the faint of heart. We sell it in combination with the Insider Platinum program, which is, you see on the screen, normally $4,990. For those things together, we sell them for $8,985, okay? It's a $9,000 deal. If you buy that package, we give you automatic free bonuses. We'll extend the Insider membership for 3 months. That brings it to 15 months total. That's a $1,250 value. You can see this on your screen right now. We also give you our MYM 10 CD set and our $400 remodeling contractor marketing bootcamp CD set. Those things together are worth $2,050. We give those to you as a bonus when you buy that package. But we also do this. We also give you $5,000 of what we call monopoly money that you can now use to buy fulfillment packages from us. You see at the top of that list, identity package. We charge $1,500 for our non-members to do that for them. We only charge our members $1,000, but you don't have to spend an extra $1,000. As a person that buys our package for $8,985, we will give you $5,000 of monopoly money that you can shop from this list, okay? So the identity package includes us coming in, working with you, going through an interview process, and figuring out what your identity is and putting it together in the form of a website homepage for you that you can use instantly to increase your business by making your website better. We also can help you, as you see on here, by giving you a pre-positioning package. That's $1,000. You can use one out of your $5,000 of monopoly money for that. We also will build your website for you. You see the price for that is $2,500 to create the content, or $4,000 to actually build it for you as well. Again, as a member of our program, we're going to give you $5,000 of monopoly money that you can use to spend off this list. Look what the thing is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down. Robust proximity marketing. If you came to us right now and said, I want that, and that's the only thing I want, we charge $1,500 to put that together for you for non-members. If you're a member, we only charge $1,000. You can, again, use that monopoly money for that. You can see things on the rest of this list. We've got SEO set up. We've got SEO maintenance, pay-per-click. We've got a radio package. All of these things can be seen in detail at mymonline/bonus package, okay? Now, like I just said, we give you $5,000 of monopoly money that you can spend on those bonus packages. We've got a Thanksgiving special right now. If you buy this week or before Thanksgiving, before next Wednesday, 1 week, we will give you an additional $2,000 of monopoly money to spend off of that list to get whatever marketing packages you need for your business, whether it's search engine optimization. If you need a whole new website, which almost all of you do, we can help you with that, pre-positioning, and furthermore, if you buy by Thanksgiving, I will also give you for free the $1,000 value proximity package on top of the $7,000 of monopoly money. All of the things that you see right here will be included absolutely for free. So you can take your $5,000 of monopoly money, spend it, take your extra $2,000 of monopoly money, spend it, and on top of that, I will give you the super robust proximity marketing package for free. Okay? To take advantage of that, scroll down on the bonus package page to section 4. You'll see that a 1-year membership with the MYM Live is $8,985. It's $19.99 down, and then $4.99 a month for 14 months. We also have a 2-year version where we give you a free iPad, and you also get more Monopoly money. We give you an additional $1,500. That's $19.99 down and $3.99 for 29 months. Okay? You can see all of that on our website. Now, let's go ahead and end up here. I do want to give away the books in the CD program. Before I do that, let's take the last poll. Let me put this on the poll, on the screen right now, which is, which of the businesses would you like to find out more about? Please fill this out right now. As you're doing that, I will draw the names for the giveaways. All right. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, I'm not going to give away the books until we have at least 50% of the people participate in the poll. We're up to 37%. Keep going. Vote, y'all, vote. Okay, as you continue to vote, the first thing is the third book. The third book is going to go to Jan Dobbins at A+ Home Improvement in Layton, Utah. So congratulations, Jan. We'll send that book out to you. And the big prize of the day is the Remodeling Contractor Marketing Bootcamp CD. This is 10 CDs of topics that are relevant to remodelers. And this is going to go to Art Donnelly from Legacy Builders and Remodelers of Mount Sinai, New York. Okay? Okay, so that was the last poll. Thank you for filling that out. Let me close that poll. Thank you. And we will end up on this slide. That is it for now. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take any questions you have on the question console on your screen. If you would like to ask a question, please type it in. And it usually takes us about a minute or two to get some traction on this, and then we usually get a lot of questions, okay? I'm going to go ahead and answer these as they come up. Let's see. When do you have a homeowner sign this? At the point of sale or at the job completion? Now, I think you're talking about the sheet to sign up for the proximity marketing program, and the answer is you do it at the point of sale. You do it at the point of sale. Typically, like I mentioned earlier, that's going to work. That's going to work in most people's sales process. You can also have the customer agree to the testimonial letter after the job, okay? Because before the job, they don't know if you did a good job or not. So that would be after the job. Next. Let's see. I have plastic gift cards for our company. How would you suggest we use those? That's a little bit out of the scope of this webinar. Will the sponsors be available for questions at the end? No, but I am, and I'd be happy to take your question and steer you in the right direction or help you best I can. Are customers reluctant to have signage on their property because of bringing attention to tax assessors? I think that's a very minor concern. If somebody is concerned about that, they will probably let you know in a very vocal way, and you might mistake that for everybody feels that way. But no, it's not a big issue. The bigger issue with job site signs has to do with homeowners associations. And we do allow in the paperwork that we have in the sign-up form that if your homeowners association will not allow you to put a sign, then that's something that obviously you just can't do. Okay. Would you put the rewards program towards the cost of goods sold too? That's a personal preference. That's something that you may want to think about, but I prefer that you do because it makes it easier mentally to deal with somehow. How do you select options on an iPad? I don't know. Sorry. Next. Will there be a follow-up to this webinar? Yes, we will send out a link to a recorded version of this later. Are samples of these forms on your website? The answer is I don't think there are, like the door hangers, the postcards, and so forth. No, but they will be available to look at on the webinar when we send you the link to the video of this webinar. Okay. Any other questions that anybody has? That's the last question I see so far. I'll give you 5 seconds to come up with something. Otherwise, we're going to end up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, thanks everybody for participating. Appreciate your time. And if there's anything that I or any of our sponsors can do for you, please fill out the, please respond to the email. We will send an email on the back end that has the various contact information for the sponsors. Thanks so much. We appreciate it. Bye now.